So 212 of Jujutsu Kaisen, elephant in the room of what happened with Sukuna and the trick that he did. Now, I ain't gonna lie, was it just me, or has it been so long that you low-key kind of sort of forgot, or maybe thought it was already addressed and you just don't really remember of Sukuna, pulling the trigger, so to speak, on that whole promise that he made, not promise, the deal, contract, whatever you want to call it, with Yuji, of like, yo, the 1 minute. I legit either forgot about it or must have thought that was already like he did it or whatnot, like it's done. So when it happened in this one, I was like, wait, what? I thought that was resolved. I thought already he did some messed up stuff to Yuji. This was one of the best chapters in a while, one of the biggest chapters. But I also seen the flip side of it. I've been seeing some people saying I'm dropping Jujutsu Kaisen. There's been some people talking about dropping Jujutsu Kaisen. I think that's a little bit extreme. First of all, this doesn't signify or solidify, shall I say. It does signify some stuff. It doesn't solidify the ending of Jujutsu Kaisen. It doesn't solidify that it's all going to be, good or bad. Because a lot of people are like, yo, this is terrible. Like, this means that, no, because, and even from the beginning off rip, Jujutsu Kaisen was said like, yo, once he eats all the fingers, obviously they're going to, Yuji's fate has been very grim to begin with. So it's not like it's a shock or anything like that of like, yo, things is getting really bad. But then when it went down, because it's also been hinting at some stuff, right? Let's go back to the beginning a little bit of Jujutsu Kaisen. Let's not forget when, I think it was when he was throwing hands, when Sukuna first took over Yuji's body, and he was like attacking Megumi, and he was attacking Gojo. But before Gojo showed up, he was going up against Megumi, and he showed some interest. I can't remember the words exactly, but he was already showing interest. Like, there was something about Megumi that he was like kind of excited about. And then you tie in the lineage and whatnot, his connections, Toji and everything. Like, he probably, and he even said it was a gamble of what he was going to do. I just didn't expect the gamble to be on this. I think anybody that says that this is what they thought was going to happen, show me proof or you're full of it.
Stop the cap.
Show me proof or you're full of it, because that is one of the biggest freaking plot twists in a long time, and probably in the entirety of the series. And I think it also breaks the mold, to be honest with you. It breaks the mold. Like, imagine just Naruto out of nowhere ripping Kurama out, or Kurama forcing Naruto to rip himself out and shoving him into Sasuke. Pause. Like, imagine some shit like that. Like, that is breaking the barriers of like what can be done, because most people are like, that should not be done. Why would you do that? Like, it kind of reminds me of when Sasuke said he was going to be Hokage at the end of Naruto, and they were like, oh no, that's horrible, whatnot. Why? Especially if he has a reason. Why is it? People make up their minds and change their minds and do things like that all the time at the last second. Like, it's not that far-fetched, especially when it's explained. So when you find out that, like, yo, this has been a plan that Sukuna has had in the tuck for how many hundreds of chapters? Like, I don't even know. It's been a long ass time that he's had this in the tuck. Why is it like, oh my God, I got to drop Jujutsu Kaisen. It's over. This is terrible. Why? Like, there's a lot of extra variables that we're not even approaching or looking at in terms of, well, is this going to be like All for One with duo conscious? Because, like, how All for One has inside of his body, and then of course Tomoda Shigaraki, he's in there as well. Like, is it going to be like that, where we're going to have essentially two Sukunas? Although Yuji, the markings on his face, I believe, are gone at the end of that chapter. Shout outs to my guy Max Powers for pointing that out. The markings are gone now, although it's kind of like, wait, didn't he have those markings off rip? There's so much to this series that is like, to unpack it all completely would be a lot.
So we don't have the capacity.
But look at the end of the day, what Kenjaku has been doing all along. Kenjaku has been jumping bodies and whatnot. It's not far-fetched that Yuji, considering he was athletic, as like super athletic beyond normal comprehension in the beginning of the series, Yuji was already something special. Yuji was already something different. Yuji was not, just the regular cat off rip. So then there's more questions to ask of like, okay, what's happening here? Because look at one of the things that is really, really exciting about Jujutsu Kaisen, right? And makes it so unpredictable is it's not just two forces. It's not just like the Democrats and Republicans. You know what I'm saying? There's Yuji and the good guys. Well, yeah, they're the good guys. You know what I'm saying? Then there's Sukuna with his whole motive and whoever follows him, because he does have people that still rock with him. And then there's Kenjaku, because it's not like, I don't think Kenjaku and Sukuna are like rubbing elbows or something like that. They've never really shown that it's like a Madara and Obito type of situation. So now I got to look at it like, wait a minute. We got three, we got a triangle offense, so to speak. Hey, no, I don't even think I used that right. But you got three forces. It kind of makes it almost like a battle royale, but it's on another level because you got on one side of things a monster that's been around for how freaking long with Sukuna, and we don't even know all of his motives. We just know right now that he wanted Megumi. Clearly, he might want something to do with an extra Shikigami that he could create, a new version or something like that. But maybe using the Shikigami, it could bring him back to life, or there's just so many other variables. Because then it makes me think, so wait, just eating one finger makes Megumi all of a sudden take over Sukuna completely? Or again, is there going to be dual consciousness? Like, how is this whole thing going to work? This is freaking exciting. This is, I don't want to say genius, but this breaks out of the barriers of so many different things. I don't understand how anybody could hate this. I don't understand how anybody could be disappointed with this, dislike this, unless it's like, oh, so you want the trope to remain the same trope. You want it to be the fox in his belly and he has to overcome it. You want it to be the hollow inside that he has to overcome. You don't want it to be something radically, a radical departure of unique creativity, because that's what this is. That's unique. That's different. That's not the same mold. Like Naruto and Bleach, they did what they did for the time period they did. You can never take away from them. This is something using that kind of trope, so to speak, and going in a different direction. I don't understand how anybody can hate on that or downplay it. That was freaking fire. And yes, somebody said I could see this only lasting a few chapters because, again, if it's just that he only shoved one of his fingers in his mouth, pause, it could be that they're going to utilize it for like, okay, now Sukuna, he's going to have a time limit, maybe a lot longer than that 1 minute he had with Yuji to do whatever he does. And then maybe it'll dissipate and return to the owner because he's the one that is already linked to it. Because you got to also think, Jujutsu Kaisen is very intricate with the explanations and stuff like that and the properties of this and that and the third. It could be that just eating the finger doesn't automatically completely divulge everything of Sukuna onto him for good. It could be that it's like, well, for a small period of time he's there, but it'll always revert back to the temple of where, the actual vessel, the actual host. But that's a dicey one because it looks like he really does want on some like Orochimaru type of thing to carry on living. So a lot of really, really epic stuff. I'm not even gonna lie, dog. Jujutsu Kaisen right now, like, hold on. Clap it up for Gege Akutami for breaking the barriers, dog. I've been saying this, and I don't care how anyone feels about this because it's just my opinion. You can feel however you want. In terms of like the battle series, especially the ones that I'm covering, it is One Piece and Jujutsu Kaisen that is constantly clashing for me for who's the best, which one's the best right now. Like not overall, right now. Like for the last year, maybe I would say it's just been they're in a different league, and there's, we got Black Clover, we got My Hero, we got a few dogs, but they're just on another level, bro. It's like if Jujutsu Kaisen and One Piece are like the emperors, then Black Clover and My Hero are like the warlords right now. But I know, it could very well switch because right now My Hero is entering finally a really awesome spot. So it could absolutely switch and go in a different direction. But as it stands right now, for me, it's been almost every single week for the past damn near year. One Piece or Jujutsu Kaisen, they're the goats, and the other ones, they be real fire sometimes too, but it's just a different league. There's levels to this thing, baby. There's levels to this thing, and yeah, they're on another one. I feel like, honestly, when it comes to moving forward with the story, again, if it's ending this year, clearly Gege said it's ending, it's ending. It's going to be very interesting to see that things are going to start moving fast, because if this is like, okay, we're in February already. How many more chapters we have left? You figure with all the breaks you counted up, there's probably about like 40-ish chapters left to get it done. The Culling Games has seemingly come to a different direction. Obviously, now we got this whole situation fighting against the government, the different governments, the US and whatnot, trying to invade and using them as power supply. Like there is a lot. This is getting very, very heavy. And I don't know, bro. It's kind of madness. Oh boy, if Gege killed Maki, I would be very, very sad. I would be very, very sad. I'll be honest with you. I don't see it happening, but you never know, because Jujutsu Kaisen is one of those that it doesn't play it safe. It doesn't try and like, whoa, like Jujutsu Kaisen is very upfront of, hey, if it needs to happen, it needs to happen. But I will give Jujutsu Kaisen this one. Opposed to something, and I gotta be real, opposed to something like Chainsaw Man, that it will really go for it. And like sometimes in retrospect, maybe it wasn't the greatest decisions, the way the trigger was pulled. Like, yo, dog, it starts feeling a little Kami got killish now that I think about it. Jujutsu Kaisen, when a death does happen, it doesn't just feel like meaningless to a certain degree. And maybe I'm off on that. And if somebody disagrees with me, by all means, let me know why you disagree with me on it. But I feel like Jujutsu Kaisen, if it's going to happen with Maki, it will be meaningful. But considering the fact that the sacrifice that her sister made, I don't see it happening at all. And shout outs to volume 22's cover with Maki on it. Best cover, one of the best covers of the whole damn series. Big shout outs.